Thank you all for being here. This is such a beautiful evening, a beautiful Kevin Bowen day. For the last part of the evening, we are going to welcome up a whole slew of poets, because you haven't heard enough poets tonight, and we're going to hear a medley of translations from the Vietnamese. One of the most important parts of the cultural work the Joiner has done is translating many, many books of Vietnamese poetry by the authors sitting here tonight. So I would like to bring up on stage to sit here in the back, Bruce Weigel, Kevin Bowen, Fred Marchant, Martha Collins, Nguyen Ba Chong, and then two wonderful visiting writers from Vietnam, Nguyen Quang Thieu and Nguyen Thuy Ca. And they're going to come up and read poems both in English and then in Vietnamese. And Jonathan here is going to accompany them between the sets on the Dan Nhi. So we're going to sort of transport to Vietnam for the last part of this set.
Trung and I are going to read two very short poems by two Vietnamese poets about the same age as us, who joined the army in the north at the age of 18 and spent 10 years fighting in the war. The first poem is by Pham Thien Duat, and it's a poem called White Circle. Maybe Trung explain.
Pham Thien Duat, vòng trắng. Khói bom lên trời trở thành một cái vòng đen. Trên mặt đất lại sinh bao vòng trắng. Tôi với bạn, tôi đi trong yên lặng. Cái yên lặng bình thường đêm sau chiến tranh. Có mất mát nào lớn bằng cái chết. Khăn tay vòng tròn như một số không. Nhưng bạn ơi, ở bên trời, bên trong vòng trắng là cái đầu bốc lửa bên trong.
This is a poem that Duat wrote when he went through a village filled with people wearing white bandanas of mourning. Bomb smoke rises in black circles. White circles hover along the ground. My friend and I walk on in silence, the silence expected after war. There is no greater loss than death. The white mourning band takes the shape of a zero. My friend inside that white circle, a head burns on fire.
This is a poem by Nguyễn Duy. Đá ơi, ta mặc niệm trước Angkor đổ nát, đá cũng tan hoang, huống chi là kiếp người. Đá ơi, xin tạc lại đây lời cầu chúc hòa bình, nghĩ cho cùng mọi cuộc chiến tranh, phe nào thắng thì nhân dân đều bại.
Zui was a poet whose poem about peace was published in the Boston Globe the day of normalizing of the U.S.-Vietnamese relations. And this is a poem called O Stone, which was written on the day that the Vietnamese troops went into Cambodia and drove out Pol Pot and the Cambodians. Yeah, the Pol Pot and his soldiers. I stand in meditation before Angkor's ruins. If stone can be so shattered, what of human life? O stone, let me inscribe a plea for peace. In the end, in every war, whoever won, the people always lost.
How's that? Trần Anh Qua was a child prodigy of a poet during the years of the American War. He's had a long and distinguished career in the public realm in Vietnam. In recent years, he's begun to write Zen-like poems. And when we were last in Hanoi, he had us for breakfast to a friend of his who turns out to be a tea master. And while he was serving us tea, he didn't announce it. It wasn't a formal ceremony. But while he was serving us tea, he, in effect, did a tea ceremony while he was telling us about his life. This is a poem by Trần Linh Quang.
Đầu xuân uống trà cùng bạn. Nhấp chén trà thứ nhất, da thịt bỗng tỏa hương. Đời thực thành cõi mộng, trần gian hóa thiên đường. Ta nâng chén thứ hai cho đất trời tinh khiết. Tâm ta bừng sáng ra, biết thêm điều chưa biết. Mai sau đời dẫu tuyệt, chắc gì hơn lúc này. Nào, nhâm nhi chén nữa, hai đứa mình cùng bay.
Tea with friends, early spring. We click and sip the first cup together, and our bodies feel as light as incense. Our lives start to feel like a dream, and the earth seems closer to heaven. We pour and sip the second cup, and more of heaven touches us here below. The mind suddenly grows clearer. Now it knows better what it does not know. Since our lives will have to end someday, and there's no guarantee of what comes after, let's have a sip from just one more cup. Let's float up to heaven gently and together. Second poem is by Vo Quay. Vo Quay is a poet from Hue City, a singer and a musical impresario who in fact organizes those river boats, those dragon boats on the Perfume River that Carolyn mentioned. He's also a poet, and this is his poem called The Peach.
Trái đào. Con rơi đêm ăn nửa trái đào ngon, còn nửa trái rung buồn mặt đất. Anh dành tặng riêng em phần hạnh phúc, phần khổ đau anh nhận cho mình.
The Peach. Overnight, a bat has eaten half a peach. The rest has fallen to the sad, sad earth. For you, I leave a portion of happiness. For me, I shall keep my share of the sorrow.
I had the great privilege of meeting Nguyen Quang Thio, whom some of you heard yesterday, 25 years ago, my first year at the Joiner Center, and had the great privilege in the years following of co-translating with him a volume of his work. And he will read first his own poem, A Song of My Native Village.
Thank you. The culture of Vietnam was born from the village. And I also was born from a village. And today I'm going to read one poem about my village. And this poem, for me, is my declaration about my village, the song of my native village. Tôi hát bài hát về cố hương tôi, khi tất cả đã ngủ say dưới những vòm cây ướt đẫm, những ngọn gió hoang mê dại tìm về. Đâu đây có tiếng nói mê đàn ông bên mé tóc đàn bà. Đâu đây thơm mùi sữa bà mẹ khe khẽ tràn vào đêm. Đâu đây những bầu vú con gái tuổi 15, những mầm cây đang bung lên khỏi đất. Và đâu đây có tiếng ho người già khúc khắc, trái cây chín mê ngủ tuột khỏi cành rơi xuống góc vườn khuya cỏ thức một mình. Tôi hát bài hát về cố hương tôi bằng ánh sáng đèn dầu, ngọn đèn đó ông bà tôi để lại đẹp và buồn hơn tất cả những ngọn đèn. Thuở tôi vừa sinh ra, mẹ đã đặt ngọn đèn trước mặt tôi để tôi nhìn mặt đèn mà biết buồn, biết yêu và biết khóc. Tôi hát bài hát về cố hương tôi bằng khúc ruột tôi đã chôn ở đó. Nó không tiêu tan, nó thành con giun đất bỏ âm thầm dưới vại nước bờ ao, bỏ quằn quại qua khu mồ dòng họ, bỏ qua bãi tha ma của người làng chết đói. Đất đùn lên máu chảy ròng ròng. Tôi hát bài hát về cố hương tôi trong những chiếc tiểu sành đang xếp bên lò gốm. Một mai đây tôi sẽ nằm trong đó. Kiếp này tôi là người, kiếp sau phải là vật. Tôi xin ở kiếp sau làm một con chó nhỏ để canh giữ nỗi buồn, báu vật cố hương tôi. Cảm ơn. Thank you.
A song of my native village. I sing a song of my native village when everyone is deep in sleep, under wet stars, under wild winds, finding their way home. Somewhere a man speaks in his sleep beside a woman's streaming hair. Somewhere the smell of a mother's milk flows into the night. Somewhere the breasts of girls of 15 rise from the land like shoots. And somewhere the coughs of old villagers fall from branches like ripe fruit, while grass stays awake all night in the garden. I sing a song of my native village in the light of the oil lamp left by my ancestors, the loveliest and saddest of lamps. When I was born, my mother placed it before me that I might look and learn to be sad, to love, and to cry. I sing a song of my native village. I sing through my navel cord, which was buried there and became an earthworm, crawling under the water jar, crawling by the edge of the pond, crawling through my ancestors' graves, crawling through the paupers' graves, pushing up red earth in its path like blood. I sing a song of my native village, bones lying in terracotta coffins where mine will lie someday. In this life, I am human. In the next, I will be an animal. I will ask to be a little dog, to defend the sadness, the jewel of my native village. On my first trip to Vietnam to work with Tio, I met in Hue a woman poet named Lam Thi Misa and told her that someday I would translate her poems. A few years later at the Joiner Center, she was a guest from Vietnam, and that same year, Thuy Dinh, a Vietnamese American woman, was here as a participant. And so for the next few years, the three of us, a woman who had lived through the war in Vietnam, an American woman who had protested the war, a Vietnamese American woman who had fled at the end of that war, worked together on her poems. Joe.
This verse was a poem by a woman, Vietnam poet, and Lam Thi Misa. And his book was published, translated by Martha Collins and published in American Green Rice. And he's the only Vietnam woman poet who was introduced into American France. And I'm not going to read the poem. I'm going to sing this poem, following the traditional Vietnamese poetry singing. Yeah, very short. I try. I'm not artist. Hương vườn. Đêm qua bom nổ trước thềm, sớm ra sương vẫn ngọt mềm, tiếng chim nghe hương cây vội đi tìm, hai chùm ổi chín lặng im ở cuối vườn. Ơi, tiếng chim trong vườn mang theo bao khúc dịu hiền quê hương. Thank you.
I'm not going to sing, but you should know what the poem says. Garden fragrance. Last night, a bomb exploded on the veranda, but sounds of birds sweeten the air this morning. I sense the fragrant trees, look in the garden, find 2 silent clusters of ripe guavas. Thank you.